Erin, still here. I needed to take basically a week off, more than a week off, to kind of settle some things from my house flooding, to kind of decompress from having just a tremendous amount of stress. I've kind of talked about it in these videos before, and I am a sucker for killing myself, I think. You know, just between having a full-time job, having 2 small children, commuting, paying bills, you know, having, you know, keeping the house clean, going to graduate school, functioning in that level. And then I got to the point where I had finished, you know, some stuff up with school, and things were kind of wrapping down or kind of getting into a good pattern, and then the house flooded and the kind of annoying stuff. But I basically got to a point where I was thinking about, you know, starting another program, and I've postponed that at this point, just to kind of decompress. I could tell that my stress levels were so high, and I think that was really affecting, you know, some of the weight loss. My body was probably just retaining onto it, and I was driving myself nutty too. So I just kind of had to say, like, I gotta take a break. I gotta just shut it down to the bare minimum things. So my house is really messy right now because I haven't been working on cleaning it. I'm doing good in my job, but you know, I've just been enjoying time with, you know, getting my work done, spending time with my kids, and spending time with my husband, and then kind of just melting into my couch and you know, reading or watching TV, whatever it is, just to like de-stress and kind of let go of some of that angst that had been building up in me. So I'm feeling a little better, feeling a little less exhausted, and just feeling a little bit more functional again. Was completely keto this entire time, so yes, even though there was stress and there was things that were bogging me down and driving me nuts, I didn't, you know, fall off the wagon on that. I do want to address a couple things because I keep getting the same kind of couple questions or few questions over and over again, and so figured it'd be easiest, instead of trying to type out responses to everybody, to just kind of put a video out there, and then if somebody wanted to ask that question but didn't, or is thinking about asking that question and they didn't, I can put that information out there and be kind of as transparent and as kind of on top of it as possible. So the first one that I get a lot is how do I track my macros? What are my macros? What do I think about macros? Macros. And basically with the macros, it being, you know, fat, carbohydrates, and protein, I don't really track them. I don't use MyFitnessPal very regularly. I was using it to do the 15 days of keto video, so I could be accurate on that. I just track my carb intake. That's the only thing I really care about. As long as my net carbs are low enough to keep me in ketosis, I'm a happy camper, and that's truly what I focus on. So what I look at when I set up a plate of food, or when I'm gonna eat a meal on keto, is I look at where are my carbohydrates coming from? Are they coming from a source that's got, you know, essentially, I try to have my carbohydrates come from something that's 75% or more fiber. So like broccoli is a really good source. Lettuces, like spring mixes, green leafy lettuce, kale and stuff like that is a really good source of that. So I kind of look at that as kind of my base. And then, you know, I will use sauces, I will use seasonings, I will use other things that are not, you know, that ratio. But I try to keep that ratio the highest for the thing that's going to be the bulkiest thing of carbohydrates on my plate. From there, then I typically will do like a protein. I do the palm-sized protein that naturally kind of keeps me at the moderate level. On average, my proteins vary from about 60 to, I want to say, 95 grams a day. It kind of just depends on the day. I don't try to do like the perfect keto ratio. I do know some people, you know, kind of lose more and are able to kind of be more precise with their weight loss by doing that. I don't, yeah, the only thing other than my net carbs, and trying to make sure that a lot of my carbs are coming from very fiber heavy foods, is I do track and keep a kind of vague calculation of how many calories I'm taking in a day. you know, I do measure things out, you know, so that way I kind of know how many calories I'm getting in. And I typically stay between about 1,650 to 1,900 calories per day. It just kind of fluctuates depending on how hungry I am and what my schedule's like. You know, maybe I might have a smaller meal because that's all I have time for. Or if I'm doing bulletproof coffee, that tends to be on days that I end up having lower calories in. And the reason why I focus on that isn't necessarily because I want to have a low calorie, I want to be calorie restrictive in any way. It's I want to know what the deficit is from how many calories I'm burning. I notice personally that when I'm above a 500 calorie deficit in the day, because I've increased my activity and not because I've decreased my calories below that, that I am losing weight more consistently. So that's kind of complicated what I just said there. So I want to make sure I'm clear. As a person, as a human being, my basal metabolic rate or whatever is about 1,600 calories. So I want to make sure that I'm always eating at least that. I don't try to take the deficit from that. So I don't try to take calories from that to then go and be less. You know, I don't try to take my 500 calories from that and eat only 1,100 calories. My goal is to eat that or maybe a little bit more. But my goal beyond that is to actually burn more than that. So typically, and I use my Fitbit to help me here, I try to burn between 2,200 and 2,500 calories a day, and I try to do that by continuously being active, by standing, by moving, by, you know, working out every day and doing different workouts. So that's the way I kind of function through it. I know that, you know, not everybody can work out, so you maybe have to make, if you're trying to do it the deficit way, you might try to cut the calories down from that. But I find that for me personally, and I think it kind of goes with some of the science of the calories in and calories out. Some people will say that, you know, you can go way over on your calories and still lose weight. I try to focus on eating the exact amount, maybe even a little bit more sometimes, of the number of calories it takes for my body to be functioning that day, and then I try to just burn up from that. So that's what I'm doing. I do notice, again, that when I have it be 500 or more, that I'm seeing the most weight loss. So another question that I get super often is, do I work out? What do I do? When did I start working out? How do I work out on keto? Do I lift weights? Like, clearly I do not lift weights, like, but, you know, what it is I do, what kind of equipment I have, all that kind of stuff. And so I figured, you know, I've actually already recorded this and I basically hated my explanation. I found it to be, you know, not helpful at all. It was just me saying some of the same info that I went over and over again. So I'm taking you down into my very, very messy basement right now because everything's torn apart due to our flood. We keep moving things around, and so I'm going to be moving some of the equipment out that I've got and just kind of quickly explain, you know, what it is that I do at home when I say that I do, you know, kind of functional regular workouts. Yeah, basically this is the equipment I've got and this is what I'm using and this is how I'm going about trying to be as fit as possible. So please disregard the pile of children's toys you're about to see. We've just kind of had to pile them into a corner. We've had to kind of move everything around as we've gone through various stages of trying to get everything cleaned up. So I apologize, but I'd rather show you stuff as opposed to talking into a camera about various objects that I have, which is pointless. So pardon the mess, but here we go. All right, so my main investment that I made in kind of getting workout equipment was I bought this Bowflex Max Trainer. This is the really basic model. The cheapest one, there's the one where it's got like a more in-depth heart rate monitor, but because I'm a Fitbit girl, I've got that on me, so I went with the cheaper one. This is really nice. It's got a program in it where you can do intervals. Max interval is what it calls it, and it's basically a 14-minute HIIT workout. So I will do that, and then I will also just kind of lazily work on this when I, you know, want to get a, just a more endurance or different workout, I'll just play around with the resistance and like jack it up all the way or take it down in order to get a good workout. This was, I want to say it was $999. But again, when I think about what I've spent for all this equipment versus what I would spend for both gym equipment, for myself and my husband, as well as childcare and driving to a gym, it's basically becomes worth it. So the other thing we have is a bunch of different yoga mats. I do yoga, so that's not very exciting. I also have these, they're called tumble tacks, and so you can use them to kind of do various different stretching. I like to use them to do kind of a knee press workout. So I will get in like the plank position, and then I'll bring my legs in and out and in and out. I find it really helpful to, strengthen my core. So other thing I have is I have an exercise ball. I'll do ab exercises on this. I'll use it to kind of do some push-ups too, where I have my feet on the ball and then I push up off the ground, so it helps with kind of core stability. The other thing we have is a trampoline, so I will bounce on this. I'll do various different workouts. I find it helpful. There's a lot of different studies, and I'll just kind of be really generic about this, but there's different information out there where jumping on trampoline can help with your lymph system, so kind of releasing and getting things out of your body, toxins, that kind of vibration is supposed to help with that. I think it's supposed to kind of work in the same way like vibration plates work, except for like you can do various different exercises on this. Like I'll do squats on this, so it'll help with like the stability because it's so bouncy. I'll also like run on it too, and it gives you a different workout than if I was gonna like run on the pavement or run on a treadmill. Okay, so the other thing, here we go. Another thing that I have is this stationary bike, but it's not your typical stationary bike. It's a work ride, so I can actually attach my laptop to this, and when I'm working at home or working on a paper or just browsing Amazon or watching YouTube videos, I can hook my laptop up to this and then sit and pedal, and it will track my my steps. The only thing I don't like about this one is like if I have my Fitbit, because it's a stationary bike, it doesn't track the steps, so that's kind of frustrating, but yeah, it's another way like in my day-to-day life that I get a little bit more exercise in, and how I'm getting to that like 22 to 2,500 calorie burn. Yeah, so I think this would be a good option if you work from home, or you sit on your computer a lot and you don't want to do like a big workout. The one thing I will say that I dislike about this is I don't particularly like the seat. There are like step pedalers that you can buy. This was the same price as one of those. This was I want to say like $130, and so like the step pedalers I was finding, or the under the desk ones that I was finding, were about like $100 to $170, and so I just thought this would be a good option, because then it would have the laptop right attached to it, and I wouldn't have to worry about my legs potentially hitting like the desk, which was my kind of my concern when I was looking at under the desk pedalers. The other thing that I like is that I can put this in a position and turn it into like a stand-up desk, so that way like if you're standing as opposed to sitting, that's another way to be very easy, quick, and healthy. You burn more calories when you stand and engage your muscles that way versus sitting. So so yeah, I like that it would become a stand-up desk too. Okay, so I've kind of thrown a few bits and bobs of stuff around that I use. So I've got a ton of free weights. Don't worry, my husband has significantly higher weights, but I'll use these when I'm doing like things on the trampoline, or I'll do like, various different arm exercises. I don't really do weights too often. I don't find that it particularly gets me the results as much as using my own body weight does. But I also do a lot of, like if I'm doing kind of like some of these exercises that I'm about to go over, I do wear these ankle bands, and you can also put them on your wrist, but they're weighted. I think it goes up to 10 pounds per band, and I have 2 of them. I just didn't take them all out. The other thing that I have is I have a agility ladder, or kind of like a speed ladder, and I'll do lots of different like exercises through it. I'll do it faster. I'll do different like hops, you know, as I go through. Hopefully you guys aren't getting vertigo from this. But you know, there's various different exercises you can do, and I use it to, you know, kind of work with my agility, doing like fast steps of stuff, like, and not hitting it. Be a lot easier in shoes and not holding a camera, but this is one of my favorite things to like bust out and work out and do like some interval training with it. I'll normally have it spread out more across the room, but just to show you. I did make the mistake, and I thought, you know, this ladder that I bought would be great. It is a little bit longer than what I actually need, but this is one where when I do a full exercise on it, it is quite, well, it takes my breath away. We'll just go with that. Another thing I have that I use is a weighted jump rope. This was pretty, I think this was like $12. This was, I want to say $30. And then like the various weights were anywhere from $2 to I think $10 a weight. And we kind of slowly collected those over time. I think 2 pounds is our smallest, and then the 10-pound is the black one. And then my husband has 2 35 pounds, and then he has a 55-pound kettlebell that he does workouts with. But we don't go beyond much more weight than that. We really focus on like agility and different types of strength, I guess. So yeah, the weighted jump rope, I'll do HIIT workouts with this every once in a while. I'm really a big user of my Max trainer. I invested so much money into that I really like using it. Plus it is conveniently pointed at a TV, so yeah, I use that a lot. I'll do HIIT workouts with this. The other thing that I'll do is I can't use a 55-pound kettlebell. I want to buy probably one that's closer to 20 pounds. I think 20 pounds is about as high as I'll go with weight. But I do have a 5-pound medicine ball, and I'll do kind of swings with it. And yeah, and that's pretty useful. We'll do, I think, majority squats and abs with this is mostly what I work on. The other thing that I have, we're getting down here, is I have this battle rope, and I barely got it set up before our house flooded, and so it's been packed away again. But yeah, it's great for arm workout. You can do squats with it while you're doing it. It's a great ab workout. Because we have a huge unfinished portion to our basement, it's easy to set up, but you can also set these up from like a deck or a garage, and do it outside. And if you're worried about your neighbors, you know what, you're gonna look a lot better than they are by working out, so who the heck cares? All right, stupid kind of thing, but I do also have the Insanity Max 30 series. I will do these workouts every once in a while. Who doesn't want to look and have maybe like some abs like that, but it's probably not going to happen. Like I've said before, I'm happy with just having a really good mom bod, but you know, I find that these kind of endurance-y exercises are really great. Will notice that I'm stronger by the end of these, and I'm able to do more push-ups, sit-ups, squats, whatever it is. The thing I will say about these, it's hard on your knees, so if you have bad knees, don't do workouts like these. These are horrible. There's so much jumping and stuff. If I ever feel like my knees are too hard, I'll jump on that and use that as my kind of go-to for doing some of these like crazy jumps that they'll have you do, or I'll be like on it and then go to here and go back and forth. But yeah, I do have at least this series. I have a bunch of Tracy Anderson videos too. I don't use those. I don't particularly find that they give me any kind of real results, and I find them super boring. I'm at the point now where I just like to be really, really active. I might use one of those if I'm doing like a really low impact day. So some other kind of like important tips or kind of tricks for doing and being healthy, I would say, is really just, you know, assessing and working it in. If working out is too hard to get in, you know, just trying to be mindful of how many calories you're burning in a day, and, you know, doing more things like standing at work or standing to watch TV even. I mean, I think it's like 10 seconds of standing is the equivalent of 5 steps as far as like burning. So think about it that way. If you can't get 10,000 steps in a day, or you can maybe only get 5,000 in because you commute to work and you work a desk job, that just convert the steps into standing and try it that way. I really like to put the focus for myself on being active and being mindful about being an active person and living an active lifestyle. And, you know, yeah, this is what's working for me, and I know that when I follow kind of the plan of just monitoring my carbs, making sure I'm, you know, burning more than I'm taking in, but that what I'm taking in is at the end of the day what I would need to kind of sustain my body, and that, you know, just as it would be if I, you know, lived a very more sedentary or less active lifestyle. I feel like I don't ever feel hungry then, I don't feel cravings, and, you know, that's what's working for me. So yeah, those are kind of the 2 questions I get asked the most often, and so wanted to put it out there and be as kind of upfront about it and what I'm doing as possible. I don't want to really record too many of my workouts because I am not a fitness trainer, and I think, you know, with food it's really easy to be like, okay, hey, I'm keto and I've cooked something in my kitchen and this is what I've cooked, or hey, I'm keto and this is what I buy at the grocery store, or hey, I'm keto and this is how I am incorporating keto into my life when other people in my life aren't keto, or, you know, there's stressors around being keto. I think giving functional advice on a diet is one thing. I would never, you know, sit down and be like, you should take X amounts of supplements and X amount of this. I did film a supplement video and what I'm taking, and I'm so leery about posting stuff like that because I feel like it can really just, you know, what one person does is totally different than what another person does, and I've said that so many times, but it's true. And with working out, I may think that my form is amazing, but I might demonstrate something that's beyond a skill level that somebody else could do. And so, you know, I don't want to kind of put anybody in danger. You could have knee pain, you could have back pain, you could have, you know, a heart condition, or, you know, even asthma that might prevent you from doing certain workouts. And so, yeah, I'm leery about doing that, but on a, you know, documenting it kind of way, I'm probably going to incorporate some pieces, but I wouldn't use it as a tutorial for how to work out. Yeah, those are the 2 questions that you guys keep asking me. I see at least a comment about it each day, and so figured I would put that kind of answers out there and answer your 2 common, very, very common questions that you guys are asking about what I'm doing out there, so that way I have an official video answering it. I know I've kind of gone over some of these subjects in other videos, but I figured this would be a better, like a little bit more in-depth kind of discussion of what it is I'm doing. So again, until next time, I hope you guys are doing good on your journey. I hope everything's going great in your life, and I will see you guys later. Bye.